everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Growthcast. We are here joined on this Saturday extended cut with Dallas Pruitt. Dallas, how are you this morning?
I am so much colder where I'm at than you are. So
you're definitely colder than me. Dallas is in Spanish Fork, Utah, where it's snowing, and I'm on the beautiful island of Maui, where it's not snowing. And I think the high today is 89 degrees. So it's definitely going to be a warm one for us today. Try not to freeze out there, Dal.
Thanks a lot. I like the seasons. I'm not going to act like it's bad. I like the seasons.
Yeah.
But I'm just pumped to be here, dude.
Yeah, me too, man. We have a really exciting topic we're going to talk about today. We received some feedback from some of you, our listeners, some problems that y'all are facing, and we want to address a couple of those problems today to see if we can't shed some light on how to overcome these difficulties that you're having in your life. But before we do, if this is your first time joining us on the Growthcast, welcome. We're so pumped to have you here. Take some notes. Dallas waxed poetic on these episodes. So definitely take some notes. There's definitely going to be some great actionables that come from these two difficulties that we're going to be dissecting. But again, if it is your first time listening to the Growthcast, thank you for being here. Please leave us a review. Please rate us, and please share the podcast with those that you think could benefit from it. For those of you, again, if it's your first time here, Monday through Friday, I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown of the Growthcast. Monday through Thursday, we've got daily drips with Dallas Pruitt, powerful episodes, 3 to 5 minutes long to help get our mindset right in the day. Those drop daily, Monday through Thursday. Tune in for those. If you like today, especially tune into those. On Friday, I get the opportunity to sit down and interview Tyler Devereaux. We usually talk about a real estate topic, a multifamily real estate topic, but we're always going to talk about mindset because we understand the importance of growth mindset, and having an abundant mindset when trying to do multifamily real estate is crucial and important, and you have to have it. So tune into those Friday episodes where I get the opportunity to sit down with the one and only, the skilled, the very, very intelligent Tyler Devereaux.
Definitely, if he was on here, he'd also say the good looking. Yeah, he would insert something like that.
He would.
Sure. So
he would.
I'll do
the handsome devil he is, for sure.
There you go.
And then on Saturday, me and Dallas, we get to sit down and do a quick interview and deep dive on either topics that y'all send us, or we'll dissect one of the daily drips that Dallas did throughout the week. But enough of me blabbing. Dallas, I want to hear from you in these struggles, man.
Sweet.
First off, before we start, I just want to say thank you to everybody that reaches out to us and sends us emails with things that they'd like us to address. These are topics that we've talked about before, but we definitely want to reiterate and dive into and talk about more. And when y'all send us these needs that y'all need to hear from us specifically on a few of these things, it helps us in that direction. So thank you for your vulnerability and for reaching out to either myself or Dallas in that effort. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Dallas, let's get started here. What are we going to talk about today, brother?
Yeah, we're going to talk about, I think all encompassing would be like work-life balance. And, this process of a lot of people who we work with are trying to exit a W-2 job, right? They don't want to work for the man anymore. They want to work for themselves and for theirself. And I think there's a lot of people out there that can relate. Obviously our population listening relates a lot because that's what we teach. That's what we preach. That's what we're working towards.
Oftentimes,
it's tough.
Yeah, dude. Oftentimes when trying to leave a W-2 type 9-to-5 job to do your own thing, there's a transition period there where you're doing both. And it can be very difficult, not only on yourself, but the people around you and the people in your inner circle, right? So we want to talk specifically to a couple of difficulties that Dallas and I have had, that we know other leaders in the company have had, and now that have been brought to our attention that we need to address as well. The first one, one of the first difficulties that was sent to us was the difficulty of focusing on family time, but while they're focusing on family time, it leaves them feeling behind building their multifamily business. Yeah. So it's that stress that you feel when you're spending time with your family, though the purpose of why you're doing this work is for your family. So it's a hard thing for a lot of people. Dal, do you mind speaking to that? How can we be with our family and actually be with our family without worrying about our multifamily business?
Yeah. Before I answer that question, I want to make sure it's perfectly clear that this is doing this, right? Exiting a W-2 job. The complexities that go into making a transition like that, they're very they can and should be very individualized. We cannot lump everybody into the same situation. We cannot lump everybody into the same category. And so I think it's kind of difficult.
Thank you for making that clarification.
Yeah. I just think like it's kind of difficult for people to come in, listen to a podcast. It's not just our podcast. I'm sure they're trying to access lots of information and tools and strategies to help them do this better. And a lot of the times what ends up happening is we speak in general terms. And we get very specific too, but it's like, again, want to just readdress that it's a complex thing and we're all individuals in different situations. And so take everything for what it's worth. And these things do work and there are strategies that help, but we're all different. And so again, I don't want people to think like you and I, Tyler, we come into this, we're like, hey, this is exactly how it is. I don't care who you are. This is exactly how it is. It's not always that way. There are universal absolute truths, but as I get ready to speak to this, I just want to make sure that's perfectly clear.
No, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that. Just something I want to add on that as well, dude, is a lot of times what's worked for us might not work for you. And like Dallas is saying, these are things that we're always working on that always have to be changed. And like that we struggle with too in the current time being. We struggle with these two problems that we're going to talk about today. So, no, thank you. Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah,
definitely.
That's the growing process. So
let me ask the question one more time.
Yeah, ask it again.
And let me ask the question.
I got some things.
Again, speaking to our reality, right? Our truths and the experiences that we've had and that you've had, Dal, how can somebody focus on their family time and be with their family without having that looming stress of the business that they're trying to be building on their back?
I think a key word that has to be changed in someone's vocabulary to be able to do this better is the word sacrifice. Oftentimes people talk about this process as a sacrifice, right? What on either end, whether that's sacrificing family time or sacrificing, work time to be able to be with family. And I believe that there's a better word, a more impactful word, a more empowering word, and a lighter word, a freeing word, and that is investment of time. And we're not just sacrificing our time. Like I invest in my family, right? Like I'm looking for greater returns in terms of the relationships that I have with my family. And I'm looking for greater returns in my business with the time that I spend working my business. And so a transition that happened a while back for me was just that key word, that shift in perspective, that shift in mindset, if you will, of I get to invest my time in the places that I want to invest my time. And I'm not sacrificing. I'm looking to increase my returns. And I also have limited priorities because I can't have a plate full of a billion priorities and expect to get awesome returns in all of those areas. So I think a key word there is, and again, a mindset shift is, quit looking at it as sacrifice. Start looking at it and putting the connotation around investing your time with family, investing your time in work, and also understanding, and you can speak to that piece, but understanding that like there's never going to be this perfect world where it's like perfectly balanced. It's literally going to ebb and flow week to week, day to day, problem to problems, plural. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfectly balanced if you're overemphasizing or really emphasizing what matters most, and that is the quality of that time that you spend in both of those areas.
Totally. Before we dive into that quality time and that quality principle of that time that we spend with the individuals that we love, I just want to reiterate and kind of back up a little bit to the difference between sacrifice and investing, right? When we think the word like just looking at those two words and the meanings of those two words, like if you think sacrifice, the first thing that comes to my mind is, I'm losing something. It's taking away from me. I'm losing something. It's painful. It's something that's getting taken away from me. And when I think of investing, I think of something that may be taken away from me for a slight time, for a slight moment, but that I'm going to get back in tenfold, right? Because that's what an investment is.
Yeah.
So it's you're going to get
it
eventually
right?
back. Yeah, it's very powerful.
Think about it. Like let's get cerebral with it. Like the verbiage, like the brain is powerful. It's chemical response to the words and the meanings we've attached to words, right? You said sacrifice and pain. There's pain, right? So if you're telling yourself that story, you're going to feel a certain way. You're going to feel pain, right? But investing in the right areas, dude, that's exciting. Yep. The chemical response is that is exciting, right? And so there's going to be feelings that come along with that. And so just changing something like that literally can change your state. It will change your state. And that's why it's important to be very conscious of using the right words in the right situations and shifting our perspective in accordance with that terminology, because that vocabulary, that terminology comes with certain feelings, right? And so I don't want to like just jump over that. You did a great job there, because I think people are like, okay, sweet. But no, there's a chemical response that matters. And again, we're all about mindset. Well, shifting your paradigm about that situation and using something like invest versus sacrifice, you literally have a chemical response that will help you spend and be excited about that quality time that you get to spend in areas now. And you'll be less you will be emphasizing less this quantity, and you will be now emphasizing more the quality, because you're going to be in the right mindset already to be able to take the most, take the best advantage of that when you're in it.
So true, man. Exactly, dude. That's the biggest part of it, right? Like if I tell myself I'm going to sacrifice a couple hours this evening, and I'm going to work a couple extra hours this evening towards the tasks and things that I need to get done. If I use the word sacrifice, then that whole time I'm working the couple hours, I'm thinking about the things that I'm missing out on. I'm thinking of like, oh, I should be with my family. Oh, I should be with my wife, instead of my mindset telling me I'm doing this work right now so that I can have more of that time with my wife, time with my family, or whatever it is. So it's just, dude, you're so right. And then that 2 hours that I'm spending, those 2 hours that I'm spending are going to be motivated and powerful 2 hours and huge 2 hours, instead of this and it uplifting 2 hours. Yeah, exactly. Instead of this,
perfect, like filling it up, right?
Exactly.
Like exactly. You feel, you're going to feel what? You're going to be, you're going to feel full of energy. You're going to feel full and happy. And when you leave and you go and say you only have 2 hours of family time that day, what do you think you're going to do with those 2 hours now? Are you going to go
2 hours
on the couch with your gut hanging out, freaking depressed and sad because of all the sacrifice you made the last 2 hours? Are you going to be jacked? You're going to freaking kick open the door and you're going to be like, what up, guys? Let's go. I'm so excited to be here. If you guys knew what our future was going to look like I know what our future is going to look like because of all the time I just invested, man, you'd be meeting me at my level too. And what do you think that's going to do for your family? Dude, they're going to have energy. They're going to have excitement. You're going to be better for them. And so it's so crazy how something so like what some think would be is so minimal or so like not important, right? A word shift, a paradigm shift. It changes the trajectory of everything. It changes everything. And so, and we've all been there. And I guess I'm passionate about it because I myself know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to go lock yourself in a cave, to work and grind and sacrifice all of this time, and then show up to the place you really want to show up the best for and the most, and you suck. You suck at showing up because you're so drained. You don't have energy. You don't have time. Right. And you emphasize that, you overemphasize. It's like, no, I just invested my time. I just invested my energy in all the things that I know are going to come fruition because of that investment has me even more excited than what I was a couple hours ago. And now you guys get to reap the benefits of all of that best me, all of that excitement. And I have seen people in my life, myself included, spend 8+ hours with family during a day and make very little to almost no impact whatsoever because of the miserable mentality or mindset that they're in because of how drained they were. It happens all the time. It happens to people who work a W-2 that aren't trying to exit the W-2, right?
Right.
And so it's like, it's so powerful. It is so powerful. And I love that we got hung up on one word. One word can change everything. Words are very powerful, very powerful.
Yeah. Another thing, not to hammer down on the word sacrifice too much, because I definitely want to move on to the next one of the next difficulties that was sent to us. But the word sacrifice as well, dude. Are you really truly, like, sacrifice to me is something that you don't have to do to get a result that you don't necessarily need. That's what a sacrifice is to me, right? A sacrifice is doing something extra that you don't necessarily need to do, but an investment is something that you need to do because of something you know you're going to get, right? So just
absolutely,
the verbiage that we use there is so important. But let's move on, dude. Let's jump on to the next one. This next one is very common, and Dal, I'm really excited to hear how you speak to this one. Being a father, having 4 children, being married. I'm sure a lot of people go through this difficulty and go through this challenge, but this individual reached out and said, my spouse and I are struggling getting used to scheduling time together instead of just being available at any point, right? Because a lot of times that's how marriage is. You text your spouse, you call your spouse, and they're right there for you, which can be a good thing. But they're having this individual is having a hard time with their spouse, really setting apart some good quality time to spend together. Dal, how do you do that? Having 4 kids, having a wife, having a very strong and healthy marriage and family life, but also having such an impact at the Multifamily Mindset, and literally wherever you are, you have such an impact. How do you go about having such a healthy family life, but also being able to do all these things that you do?
Yeah, one of the things that has really helped me as my life's gotten a little bit more, as things have become more urgent and more important on the business front, right? Like it is stressful. It is stressful. And as I try to do more and grow more in that realm, it very easily can become a distraction. Yeah. That sounds weird because it's a priority, right? But it very, very quickly can shift from priority to distraction. And those 2 words are interchangeable when it comes to work and my family, because those are my 2 main priorities, right? Like God, family, work. It is in that order. It is literally in that order for me. That is a hard line that I have drawn, very hard. That is a commitment. I'm disciplined with that. That's something that I have committed to long-term, right? And so it makes me more observant because I've defined that as my hierarchy. Yeah. I have God, I have family, and then I have work. Outside of that, I have some other things, but they don't really matter because most of the time I only have enough time to get to God, family, and work. And, a little bit of time for some self hobby or, whatever to fill my cup and gain some energy and give some attention to the things that fill me up when I'm really struggling. But what I do and what has become common practice for me as I've gotten better is I block times off that are sacred times where I eliminate the priority becoming the distraction. Yeah. And what I mean by that is my morning routine and then my afternoons family time block. Those are 2 blocks of time on my calendar that, if you're in my circle, if you work with me and we're on a project, on a mission, whatever it is, I will not, or it will be very rare if I respond. It'll be very rare if I respond. And that is extremely impactful because, again, it allows me to live in that space and increase that quality time with that time I've blocked off for the true priorities. And so my wife and I might not get to spend every waking moment together like we used to when we were first married or when we had younger kids and they weren't so busy and work wasn't as fruitful as it is now. However, I would say, with beyond a shadow of a doubt, the quality time I spend with my wife has less distractions and it is more impactful than ever. And that fills me up more than ever. And our relationship is stronger than ever. And it's interesting because we spend less time together, but the time that we do spend is reserved, undistracted time. And a couple things that I have to do, and she'll catch me if I don't. And I'm not here to say I'm perfect because it happens. It happened last week. I have to put my phone any gateway, any tool to a gateway of distraction that I can become undisciplined in, I will make sure it's not an option.
Yeah.
And when I don't, my wife and I have a strong enough relationship that can carry the weight of truth. She'll call me out of my crap. She'll be like, hey, sweetie, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'll be like, oh, I know, honey. And she'll be like, hey, no, I don't care what it is. Is somebody dying? Is your bank account went broke? Like, no? Okay, sweet. Put it up. And I love that I have a relationship like that with and it's taken time to cultivate that and setting new boundaries as we grow together and figuring this thing out. But she's on board with me, right? She's on board with me. And we talk about these things often. We set new boundaries when we need to, but time blocking is super impactful for me. And I also just think that, we're a mindset podcast. We're a mindset company. Here's a mindset piece for you. Things can wait. You don't have to address every little thing that pops up. And, that's something that you have to remind yourself often. Things can wait. They are never, rarely are they as dire as you think they are. We all have this, maybe not all, but a lot of us have this people pleasing component about us because we're high achievers. We want to make people happy. We want to thrive. We want others to thrive. And guess what? Things can wait. They're not as dire as you think they are sometimes.
Right. One thing that I want to add, kind of encompassing both of these difficulties that were sent to us. Again, the difficulty of focusing on family when you're with family and not being pulled towards your multifamily business, and the other difficulty of scheduling that time to be with your spouse and making sure that's quality time. One of the things that kind of just came to me while we were talking, and one of the things that I've learned very heavily from Tyler, I work every single day with Tyler Devereaux when he's here. A lot of times he's traveling, teaching classes, but when he's here in office, I am very fortunate to be able to watch him work and observe how he works and how he goes throughout his day. And also, I'm very fortunate because I get to see how he interacts with his family and that work-life balance family that he does. And one of the biggest things that I've learned from Ty is that everything that he does, whether it's with his wife, spending quality time with his wife, or spending quality time with his family, is that it's purposeful. That there's purpose behind that time that he is spending with his family. For example, if he's got some time blocked off in the afternoon, he does it on his calendar. So I'm able to see it. I know what he's doing with that time off that he is with his family, because it gives him purpose and meaning behind that time. It's not just like being very available and it's very intentional and purposeful behind that time that he spends. So the biggest takeaway that I've learned from Tyler at Dallas, you do this too, is when you are taking time away from your business or working on things that are getting you to where you want to go, working on your goals, the times that you do take away from that should be things that are feeding that to help you get to your goal, but should also be purposeful and time like scheduled out and planned. So you're not left wondering, oh, should I be working on my business? Should I be here with my family? No, the plan was to be here with the family and have purpose behind that and be disciplined to that purpose, like you're saying. So I kind of I had that thought while you were talking.
That first one, right?
Yeah,
investing your time, being intentional with your investment.
Exactly.
That's a great one right there, right?
Exactly.
It's like, man, I can do things. It's that same principle, only flipped. I can do things, meaning like the lack of intentional do with family, that actually drain me, don't make me better, and only cause more issue or problem as I come back to the workspace. It's this dance between the two where it's like, okay, I got to go get filled up here. I got to go get filled up here. I'm allowing things to fill me up. I'm using these as fonts. It's filling up, not drains. Like, it shouldn't drain you. And again, maybe a lot of that just starts with your mindset. Maybe it's, you've used the wrong word. You've used the wrong word here. And so, but yeah, don't just go freaking hang out with your wife to just hang out and not have a plan. It's also not got to be so structured that you don't have time to like live life and be impulsive and jump in a freaking river as you're going for a walk or something, whatever it is. Like, that's a weird random thing that I thought of as I was,
but no, smell the roses.
But it's like, stop, smell the roses. But like, dude, have some type of intentional thing that you're going to do that you know is going to fill you up. Go for a walk. Have a conversation. Put your phone up. Freaking do something fun that you haven't done in a while and go learn together. Like whatever, go work out together, go, whatever it is. And don't do the same thing over and over and over again, because it becomes monotonous. It becomes so boring. It becomes routine and normal to the point that it's not intentional anymore. Your senses aren't enhanced or stimulated. So you're literally just drifting and going through the motions. It's like, man, go try a new meal that you've never tried. Go have a fun experience together, learn together, grow together. That's what learning and growing together looks like. But it's not like, hey, hon, I'm done with work. You want to sit down and watch a show? I mean, maybe you have a fun sitcom that you love watching and you guys freaking laugh together. Humor's a part of it, but like, go out and be intentional with your actions. Go do something together that fills you both up, utilizes to the maximum capacity that investment of time that you're giving, right? Pouring into, and you'll be better on all fronts if you navigate life this way.
Yep. 100%. I think that's a perfect place to end. Dallas, thank you so much for your wisdom and your guidance and the actionables that were pulled out of this episode today. Again, make sure you're intentional with the times. Make sure you're using the correct verbiage when talking about spending time with your family. It's actually an investment. It's not a sacrifice. Same thing when spending time on your work. Instead of maybe spending time with family, it's an investment, not a sacrifice. It's something that you have to do. And then again, when you're spending time with your family and your wife, be purposeful, be disciplined, and actually have that time with them where it's actually going to fill you up as you're filling them up. So Dallas, thank you so much for this powerful episode. If you have any questions or you'd like to reach out to us or let us know some of the difficulties that you're having in your life so we can address them on the Growthcast, we would love to hear from you. Please reach out to us at the Growthcast at the multifamilymindset.com. And we will definitely, we'll add it to the queue and we'll discuss and we'll definitely bring them to the pod. But Dallas, again, thank you so much for your time. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if it's your first time, please leave us a rating, please leave us a review, and then share the podcast with those that could benefit. Appreciate you. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, y'all.